Science, 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 science in pajamas. Woo! Alright, guys, today we're going to talk about how body systems are organized and how they are interacting in order to make a functional organism. Now, we're not going to go into super detail about all the different systems. We will mention them and we will talk a little bit about their basic function. But I don't think any one of us wants this video to be like an hour long. So we're just going to do this as a summary. Sound good? Great! Let's move on then. So first off, let's talk about the organization of life in terms of an organism. Now I know in past videos we've talked about ecological organization, we've talked about biological organization, like all the way up or down from atoms up to biosphere, but today we're just going to focus on the organism. And that means that we have to first start by talking about the cell. So here we have our cell. The cell is the basic unit of life, meaning it is the smallest thing that we consider to be alive. It has a lot of different functions in an organism because there's different types of cells. Now, when you have a bunch of cells that are working together for a particular function, that's when you have a tissue. So a tissue is when there are cells that are connected, so that extracellular matrix is kind of holding them together, allowing for cell adhesion. And they come together to form a larger tissue, which is a bunch of cells that are working together for a common job, whether that job is for all of them to secrete digestive fluids or digestive enzymes, or to protect the body, whatever that is, they are all coming together for a particular reason, to make a tissue and to do a particular job. Now, when you have multiple tissues come together, you can have an organ. In case it's not obvious. So when you have multiple tissues coming together to build a larger structure, that structure is called an organ. Now what's going to happen is this organ is going to do the job that all the different tissues have been working towards. So we have tissue on the outside of, I don't think there's any on that, is there? I don't remember. Anyway, sorry. There are tissues on the outside of the stomach to protect it and to keep it strong and to keep it from getting perforated. There are tissues on the inside that create and secrete digestive enzymes. There are tissues on the inside that will absorb the nutrients that are broken down during digestion. But all these different tissues combine to make this one organ. And this one organ does a job. Now, if you have multiple organs that come together to do a particular job, So we have the stomach, we have the intestines, large and small, we have the esophagus. All of these come together to make an organ system. There's also the liver in there, pancreas. So all of these individual organs are coming together to do one larger job. So the esophagus transports the food down to the stomach. The stomach will digest it. The liver is going to secrete bile to help with that. The intestines, the small intestines, are going to start absorbing the nutrients and putting them into the bloodstream. The large intestines are going to absorb excess water back from the waste products to kind of dry it out and also to keep the body hydrated. And then at the very end, for lack of a better term, we poop out the waste. All of these come together for a particular function, to gather nutrients and get rid of wastes. So this is an organ system. It's made up of multiple organs. And when you have multiple organs that come together, multiple organ systems that come together, you have an organism like us, like you and me. So these organisms, if you were to think about yourself as an organism, we have many different organ systems that work together to allow us to be a fully functional living organism. We have the digestive system like we showed here. We have a respiratory system. We have circulatory system. We have immune system. We have a whole bunch. There's actually 11 main 11 main organ systems that keep us going and that we use. So again, just like before when we talked about any other kind of organization, look at how it starts off small and it gets bigger. So one cell is the smallest unit of life. A bunch of cells working together create tissue. A bunch of tissues working together create an organ. A bunch of organs working together creates an organ system. And a bunch of organ systems coming together make the organism. Now, we are going to just briefly talk about the organ systems. We're not going to get into super detail about them. As we said, there are 11 of them. All right, so I'm going to start on this side, just this way I'm not leaning over and blocking it. First, we have the circulatory system. Now, the circulatory system consists of such organs and tissues as your heart, your blood vessels, which include arteries, arterioles, capillaries, venules, and veins. And the purpose of it is to circulate stuff around the body. So it picks up oxygen from your lungs, moves it around the body. It picks up carbon dioxide from your cells, moves it back to your lungs so you can exhale it. Your blood carries nutrients from your stomach and from the intestines all around your body to the cells, and then picks up waste from the cells and moves it to the kidneys where they can be filtered out and gotten rid of. It also circulates things like hormones and other essential molecules, antibodies and such, and enzymes throughout your body so they can get where they need to go. Excretory. This is the waste filtration system. So this is your kidneys, your bladder, your blood vessels a little bit, because remember we said that your kidneys are going to filter your blood, get rid of waste in the blood, and then send it down to the bladder where you will excrete it or get rid of it in the form of urine. Muscular system. So the muscular system is exactly what you think it is. It's your muscles. So the muscles that allow your arms to move, that connect to your legs, or your bones in your legs. All those different muscles that connect to your bones and surround the internal part of your body. That's the muscular system. They help you to move because what happens is they attach to your bones via some certain connective tissues like tendons, ligaments, etc. And it can pull on the bones to allow us to move around. We do have different kinds of muscles. Not all of them are necessarily attached to bone for movement. We also have some smooth muscles like what's in your lungs or some of your other organs to help those move food or bring in air, etc. Digestive. So the digestive system is, as we already said, things like your esophagus, stomach, large and small intestines, liver, etc. And the point of this is to digest or break down food in order to gain energy from it and then remove the unusable stuff as a waste product. All right, next, immune system. So the immune system is going to be things such as your lymph nodes, the pancreas, a few other glands and things. And what they do is they make certain antibodies or help with the white blood cells in order to protect your body from foreign invaders, such as bacteria and viruses. Now, the cool thing about the immune system is that we can actually train it to attack certain foreign invaders. I mean, that's what a vaccine is. When they give you the flu vaccine, they're giving you a dead version of the flu virus. Since it's dead, it's not going to get you sick, but your body will react to it. And sometimes that can be why one of the side effects could be a fever is because your body is reacting to the fact that, oh my goodness, there's something here that shouldn't be. But what it also does is it actually trains your immune system to know what the flu virus looks like, what it's made out of, how it's put together, so that if the flu virus, a living version of it, enters your body, it can fight it off more effectively. Skeleton. So these are your bones, as well as, again, the connective parts that connect bones to bones or bones to muscle, like ligaments and tendons. And what this is, it provides our structure. So it gives us support, it gives us shape, because we organize our muscles and our organs around the bones or within the bones. They also are protection. What we consider our most vital organs are protected by bone. Your brain is inside the skull. Your heart and lungs are inside your rib cage. So they also do offer some form of protection. All right, let's see. Endocrine. So the endocrine system is the hormone system. So it can be things like the pituitary gland, certain parts of your brain, the reproductive organs, because they secrete hormones like the ovaries and testes. Let's see. The adrenal gland. All of these secrete hormones, and the point of the hormones is to keep your body functioning. So sometimes they're for growth, sometimes they're for development, sometimes they're things like serotonin to kind of help regulate your mood, but they're all still very important. All right, next, integumentary. Integumentary. That's a long one. So the integumentary is our skin, our hair, our sweat glands, all those aspects, our nails. They are external protection for us. So we have pigments in our skin that help protect us from ultraviolet rays from the sun. Our internal organs don't have those pigments, but our skin does to try and protect our organs from the harmful UV rays. It's also a nice barrier that bacteria and viruses can't get through. If there's bacteria and viruses on your skin, that's fine. They are not going to get you. The problem is if you touch them and then start rubbing them all up on your face, viruses and bacteria can get in through your moist mucosal membranes, like your eyes, inside your nose, and your mouth. But unless there's a break in your skin, like a cut, they can't get through that barrier. So it's protection. It also does help, like with our sweat glands, in order to help regulate our internal body temperature. The hair as well. It can offer some protection. We do have a thin layer of hair all over our body. Let's see. What's next? That's 4. All right. Nervous system. So this system is our control system. It consists of our brain, our spinal cord, not so much the spinal bones, the vertebrae, but the neural tissue inside that has all the nerves and conducts the signals through. And then we have peripheral nerves that radiate outward. And what these do is, like we said, they're our control system. If I touch something and it's hot, so if I touch this and it's hot, my fingers have little sensors in them, little nerves. And that hot sensation, the pain sensation, travels from my fingertip, through my finger, up my arm, to my spinal cord, up to the brain. The brain comes up with a response. It interprets the signal and sends a response back. Ow, hot, move the hand. That response goes through the brain, down the spinal cord, through the nerves in my arm, down my arm to my fingertip, and then I go, and jerk my hand back. I don't actually even have to think about it. It's an automated response. Now, it took me a while to explain that, but think about how quickly that actually occurs in your body. It's more like, because that's how fast our signals travel, and it's all because of the nervous system. So it's a pretty impressive system. We have the respiratory. So in the respiratory system, this is how we get oxygen into our body in order to allow for cellular respiration. Now, if you remember, cellular respiration is when the mitochondria uses glucose, which we get from our digestive system, from our food, and oxygen gas, which we get from this system, from our lungs, and it uses the oxygen gas and the glucose. It breaks the bonds and reorganizes them. But when it breaks the bonds, it releases energy, and the mitochondria will take that energy, store it in a molecule called ATP. And ATP is what powers everything in all of your cells. So this system is essential to get oxygen in order for cell respiration to occur. It involves your pharynx, your lungs, and what happens is we inhale oxygen, goes all the way down to our lungs, where once it's in our lungs, it gets absorbed into the bloodstream. The oxygen moves around the body and is deposited and given to different cells all over your body. Now, one of the waste products of cell respiration is carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide is then passed from the cells to the bloodstream. the bloodstream goes back through the veins to the lungs and diffuses the carbon dioxide into the lungs. From there, we exhale. So my lungs push the carbon dioxide up through my pharynx and out through my mouth. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. And that's all thanks to this respiratory system. And last but not least, the reproductive system. Now, up until this point, all of the systems have been for the direct purpose of keeping the organism alive. The reproductive system is kind of a little bit different. Now, we all need a functional reproductive system to some degree. What I mean by that is the hormones that are produced by the ovaries and the testes do help us to grow and develop. So they do help us to function normally. However, does that mean everyone needs to have children? No, if you don't want to have kids when you're an adult, that's fine. That's up to you. So the actual function of the reproductive system is to make the hormones, but also to provide a way to keep the species going. So you as an individual might not use your reproductive system as a means to pass information on and create the next generation. But as a species, we need functional reproductive systems, because if we cannot create a next generation, then our species would die out. So is that debate about the true necessity of the reproductive system in terms of you as a single individual, you cannot survive without the rest. With the reproductive system, it is still just as important because, like we said, those hormones that are produced by the ovary and testes are essential for your growth and development. Whether or not you choose to have kids, that's fine. But the organs themselves and the hormones they produce are still very much important. All right. So that concludes this Science in Pajamas. I hope you guys learned some awesome information. And until next time, you guys stay awesome and amazing and stay safe and healthy. All right. Bye, guys.